Hey, what's up, guys? I got this about a month ago. Another high quality British magazine that half the magazines in Barnes and Noble seem to be. Now, yeah, it's a little pricey, but it was worth it in terms of the archival of the footage, the archival, right? Because it is an archive quality of it. And what was interesting to me about this, okay, well, it was only not only combining the Great War, the World War, the war that was the beginning of the end for us. The majority of these are from magazines, illustrated magazines, and there's photography, but a lot of the striking images in them were illustrations. You still had, I mean, very talented artists, many of them going to the front, just working, I guess you'd say, pen, ink, paint, sort of the setup, right? Your magazine culture in the late 19th century is eventually going to become everything from weird tales, pulp fiction, to your comic books, right? In the 30s, and looking at this, just the artwork was just amazing. Okay, the historicism, the artwork, the style in it. This is like a real. I wish. I mean, if I could draw, I would like to draw like this style, right? Everything is just amazing. So, of course, this is a British magazine, so you're gonna see the First World War from their perspective, right? You have the sphere, right? The summer season, right? The long Edwardian summer, right? June 20th, 1914. About 2 months before all hell is gonna break loose. And look at that, beautiful. Like I said, it's not quite a painting. It's, I'm sure, done in pen and ink, and then colored. What would you call that? I guess, I guess that is painting. But in terms of the art, you see where you're gonna get in Weird Tales you have interior art sketches, and then like I said, comic books. Now, if you had comic books drawn like this, man, oof, those would have taken forever for the editor, right? There, you can say they're comics and they're from their inception, regardless of even the other things involved with them. It was definitely a crude down of the artwork. So anyway, and you have you just like this humor mixed in. You got stuff that's just literally sketches, right, going on. I'm trying to see the notables, and you have right here. You get the. I think these are some of the artists, right? Yeah, this is the press gang. Hey, look at these dudes with the mustaches. You can imagine, like a Monty Python skit. Yeah, very well, Basil, very well. You can almost hear these guys talking. Um, so now we all know how the World War goes, right? The evil Huns, the evil Germans, they burned their own war dirt, right? Of course, the Germans tried to get to the coast, and they were stopped by the BEF, right? The British Expeditionary Force was probably the most experienced combat trained military group probably in the world at the time with their experience in the Boer War. And they helped to stop the Germans, right? That miracle minute, right? Even I admit that. You know who I'm rooting for in this damn war, but I'm being objective, right? Uh, the elite Enfield, right? The famous rapid rate of 30 rounds a minute. The Germans thought they were actually getting shot with machine guns. Of course, the next couple of weeks, these guys were ground down by attrition. You needed a larger army, so, and the British started to do that. Okay, asking for volunteers. Okay? But eventually, you had to call up conscription. So just looking at the art, right? Oh, the Germans are running. Oh, I love seeing this, right? But look at this. Yeah, you want to be a true worth? Yeah, Johnny, get your gun. Oh, life of leisure, right? I want you to fight the Germans, right? Your cousins. The people most like you in the damn continent. Anyway, but yeah, and you had this one here, Edith Cavell. Oh, she became a heroine. Uh, I will admit the Germans sometimes maybe they were trying to be a little too ruthless, but at the same time, they were very strict. You do not help prisoners escape. You do that, you will be shot. And you are a woman, and we believe in equality, right? Because workers in England don't have any rights. Your Labour Party is just getting started. The workers are much better treated in the more progressive Kaiserreich. Oh, all right, okay, I'm not gonna get on that. So, sorry, anti-German feel. Let me tell you something. In England, You should have seen the anti-German feeling in America, but I'll go over that at some other time. And yes, I'm biased, okay? Uh, I keep saying, in this war, 7 of my male ancestors in my German side of the family died fighting, okay? And 4 in the second. Okay? So yeah, I'm biased, but at the same time, I'm beyond that too. This is, the brother. I know it's an overused meme, the brother war, but it really was. It really was. It's very clear that everybody was sort of the inertia of the modern era, right? Okay, everyone thought that the sky was the limit before this, right? Except for your decadence. If I keep bringing up the decadence, right? The sky was the limit. The limit was going to be the amount of technology and the amount of change. It was a theme I want to get into that is going to happen from these wars, this war, and of course the other war. You could say they were one war essentially. Not just the technology, but of the social, the movement, the consolidation of systems, right? Logistic systems, governmental systems, policy systems, industry. All these things are going to combine together to bring the world, the lovely world you have now. Right? Anyway, getting off on that tangent, you have, right, the British royal family of German descent, George III, who I would have been loyal to as a Tory in these damn plantations. He was actually a great king, a very tragic man in my opinion. But of course you had like the Battenbergs, they became the Mountbattens, and you had like the Hanover Regiment that Younger was in. They had links to the British Army. They were related by blood, and of course this was eventually done away with, right? The Deprivations Act stripped German royals of their British titles, right? And there's Wilhelm. Anyway, just going on the wonderful art, the beautiful art that you see this, right? You get the amount of time done to put into this. Of course, the Christmas and wartime. Of course, this is not the Christmas truce. You don't see any Germans there, right? It's still amazing, the Christmas truce, right? Yeah. But of course, for purposes of morale, they didn't want to show that. Yeah, the Germans were like, hey, let's go out and let's have fun with the British, instead of killing each other. Yeah, the Germans were the ones that, and everybody admits that they were the ones that started that friendship. It's Christmas time, but it was the Lusitania. Yeah, kind of controversial. I'm not gonna sit here and say, yeah, there were munitions on it, so torpedoes away. Okay, in terms of the German U-boats, of course, they had to use U-boats, right? And they were trying to do what was done to their civilians, which was the blockade. They were doing their own blockade, and there were definitely munitions on here. Everyone knows that the Germans took out ads in the American newspapers: don't travel on British ships. Doesn't matter though. It's still a hell of a thing to sink a ship that is going to be filled with mostly civilians. I'm being honest, right? Am I going to be one-sided? I think it was a mistake, and obviously this was a huge tactical mistake later, because this helped finally bring the Americans in. Right. But yeah, the lads having a drink. Anyway, there's a dreadnought. So some of this art is amazing, man. You can see, of course, photography is going to replace all this, right? Like this. So that's cool, U-boat. But this is the one that got rammed. The first one that got lost got rammed by the British ship. Yeah. And I don't. Yeah, that son of a bitch. So, and he served. I forgot he served in the trenches. Imagine if imagine a different outcome with all the casualties. This is kind of funny. I like this. Making a little fun of like, oh, blimey, right? Yeah. And this right here, this I thought was interesting with this young, this young guy. He died hospital. He actually helped in this battle really well, and right, he was buried in a common grave. When the story became known, he was exhumed and reburied. Oh, how nice. Why the hell was he in a common grave? Regardless. You go through here, you got the Scottish guy with the nurse. Hey. You see that despite photography, right, and the realism that is taking over in terms of the media, that you still have in terms of the artwork, the illustrations, you still have, yes, you say, oh, this is idealized, but there's a reason why, right? It's idealized for a purpose, looking higher, going higher, right? Ordered from above, as Jonathan Bowden used to say. Now, well, and I'm gonna have to do a couple parts of this. I can't get around it, but I just want to look at something here. Now, this is the allies. Look, right? You have all the allies here, right? Of course, you have your multiculturalism here. Now, these are, of course, allied nations, but I'm talking about in terms of your colonial soldiers, right? Right, the Gurkhas, in East Africa, the Germans, Vital Lorbeck, they ran circles around the British, and of course they used the Askari warriors, and the British used their own African warriors. But in Europe, you can see that the British and the French were not averse to using people of other races to fight the Huns. Okay? What are you seeing here? What are you seeing? Oh, come on, dude. What are you seeing here? Right? You're gonna see more later, but you have your empire, right? And empires eventually the flow of colonies goes the other direction, and then they come into here. And look, there's the Alpine front. I mentioned. Look at that, these Italians. Holy shit, that's a whole thing on its own. That damn Alpine front. Anyway, all right. Johnny Walker. Oh, Johnny Walker. Hey, and you got your Anzacs, your Scots, your Canadians. So once again, the Canadians. And some of the you guys, I like this right here. I like this cartoon here. Barnsworth with the American Army. Right? I know we're fighting for democracy, but next time the colonel comes around, salute you, son of a. It's like, yeah. And you have something funny here. The Battalion of Death, composed entirely of Russian women. They kind of look like people today. Now, of course, Mother Russia, how I feel now, and even back then, even when the Russian people were hostages of the Soviet Union, okay? Let's be frank. But you have this kind of thing here. It's like you're looking towards the future. And around it, you have the entertainment. Like London became a big hub. And all these soldiers coming from all over England going to London, having some time with the ladies, right? And you got the guy done up as a chick. Listen, this was a common thing they did back then, and it was mostly straight guys. Okay, so drag was taken by the LGBT. So, and it's this fucking asshole. Anyway, I like this here. This is kind of cute. It's like, not during the war, thank you. Look at this. You gotta deny to get the friggin' bulldog of beer, right? So watered down beer, right? Remember the 1984, right? The old guy was like, the beer tasted better before the war, right? Look at this. Oh my God, like the watering down of beer. You couldn't buy a round of beer in the pubs, right? Lloyd George, the Liberal Party, right? Right, Britain was fighting the Germans, the Austrians, and drink. There you go. So they're not gonna let you let you drink. So this is before Prohibition in America. Anyway, I'm gonna round this out because we're getting here. Oh, travesti. Yeah, you have a woman as a man. Oh, see, yeah, you're gonna have a lot of that stuff coming up more and more in the trenches. Like Wyndham Lewis had mentioned how inversion increased. What do I mean by that? Increased with men in the trenches. That's gonna happen, right? I guess. Like James Whale, right? There's a war movie that James Whale made that I want to see because all the campiness aside and all the Frankenstein and all the retconning of injustice against the marginalized. Supposedly he made a really good even-handed war film, okay, in Hollywood of all places. But regardless, all right, we'll go into another part 2.